everybody, and welcome to our week number 13 Twitch live stream for my research methods class. I cannot believe that we are in week number 13 of the semester. That's just crazy that we literally are down to like a month left, and that is about it. Thank you so much for those of you who are joining me or even watching this later. Everything looks good on my end. Can you hear me and see me okay? Can someone give me a thumbs up or a yes or something? Let me know in the chat. Oh, awesome. Great. Okay. I'm so glad that everything is cooperating. I'm at home, so everything works much, much better here than it does on campus. I'm so sorry for last week that it was interrupted. I stayed on campus for Multicultural Day and figured I'd be able to connect, and it just wouldn't let me. So back to normal this week. Let's head over to Canvas together. I want to be mindful of your time like always. But if you scroll down, we are here, right? And look at this. We don't have very much left of the semester. We're in week number 13 right now. I want to just kind of go back for just a minute and touch on week number 12 since we had some materials last week. And then we'll talk about what we have going on for right now. So last week we were looking at APA formatting part 2. You were in charge of reading some stuff related to the APA manual and then had a discussion and an exam. So I just want to point out a couple of things with the discussion really quickly. A lot of you seem to kind of enjoy the little exercises. I'm glad, like I know they weren't necessarily fun, but they were definitely a little more interactive, which I think sometimes is nice. I enjoyed your title pages. A lot of you did a really great job and a lot of you were really close. So formatting with APA style is definitely a little bit tricky. I brought up the sample image that I had for you, and I just want to point out a couple of things really quickly that I saw kind of consistently. So notice that the title of the paper is bold. Some of you kind of forgot to do that. Notice that there is a page number at the top. There were some people who forgot that as well. There's no running head because it's a student paper. So a couple of you included a running head and lost a couple of points, or forgot this and lost a few points. Because this was kind of the only big thing you were turning in, I was pretty nitpicky about it. There should be the space in between. Some of you just kind of sandwiched it together. Some was up at the top, down at the bottom. So this is what it should have looked like for that sample. A lot of you nailed it, and most of you were very close if you didn't quite get it. So I definitely hope that that was helpful to have those examples. You'll have one more opportunity to do a title page for the final project in the last week. Otherwise, the other thing that we had last week was our exam. We did have exam number 3. And again, just like the first two, a lot of you just did an absolutely beautiful job on the test. Here, if we take a look at this really quickly, I want to show you the statistics just so you can kind of get an idea of how you fell in relationship to everybody else. I think that's kind of a helpful piece of information. So what you'll see here is when this populates, the high score was 100%, which is fantastic. The low was a 64. The average amount of time was right about 33 minutes and the average score just shy of an A. So you can see our little curve here kind of very skewed up at the top, which makes me happy to see. A lot of you did a beautiful job, a lot of A's as you can see in between this 90 and 100, and then some people scoring maybe a little lower than they might have liked, but for the most part really nicely done. A lot of you did a fantastic job. The timing would indicate to me that you had enough time to complete the exam, so really nicely done on week number 12. We move now to week number 13, and this week, what you'll see is that I don't have a reading assigned for you. It's more an opportunity to kind of help you work on the experiment proposal project. So this is a big project that you have due during the final week. And in order to help you kind of start thinking about it and get started, I wanted to make that the focus for this week. So instead of doing a reading from the book, you're only reading this week, very light for you, is just to read through the instructions. So let me go back to student view here, and then we'll go take a look at that together. And again, we're in week number 13. So if you click on the experiment proposal project, it's going to bring up the instructions for this project, which isn't due, as I mentioned, until the very end week of the semester. But rather than having you wait, I want you to start thinking about it now. The purpose of this project is to give you an opportunity to apply all of the research principles that you've learned over the course of the semester. For this assignment, you will design and write up a brief proposal for an original experiment in APA formatting, along with creating a small digital flyer and a quick little video that you'll also submit to me, all of it together during that last week. So these are the instructions for the final paper. And so I want you to read through this, and you'll notice that the final paper should be like 5 to 7 pages. It'll be APA style formatting. I've given you what I want in it: a title page, an abstract, a method section, a discussion section, and then you'll also create a small digital flyer and a short video. And this is due by the end of our class in that last week that we meet in May. So for this week, you're not doing the whole thing, but I do want you to read through it so that you can start thinking about how are you potentially going to approach this when it gets a little bit closer. And then in order to facilitate that, the discussion this week will be focused around doing that. So for discussion 13, as always, you have my instructions and my video. And so for this week, you'll be starting to think about that project, and I have the instructions linked here again if you need them. So after reading through all the instructions, and I just kind of popped them up, so make sure you read through them, what I want you to do is do these 4 things, right? And this is going to give you a really great opportunity to start thinking about it, a great start. You can always change your topic later, but obviously if you do all this work, it'd be nice to use it. So try and think about it before you choose a topic, just so that you get as much as you can out of this assignment. So number 1, what topic are you considering for your experiment proposal project? Try and give this some thought. Narrow down your idea as much as possible so that your work this week helps you make considerable progress toward that final paper. So what is it that you want to know, right? Kind of describe what would you consider doing an experiment on. You're not actually doing the experiment, so you can come up with anything. We don't have the opportunity to do that, but you're going to write about it as if you were going to. So it can be related to psychology or not. It can be any topic that you're interested in, but think about what would you want to know. What are some of your research questions? What would you do if you could do any experiment? Number 2, I want you to describe your independent and dependent variables. Make sure that you tell me, what is your independent variable? What are the different levels or conditions? What is your dependent variable, and how are you going to operationalize or measure it? Number 3, how will you acquire your sample for your experiment? And again, you're not actually doing the experiment, but this is an opportunity to think about what you would do. How will you get your sample? What are some potential sampling methods that you might use? What are some potential issues that you could run into? Again, the more you think about this now, the more it'll help you later. And number 4, what are some potential threats to internal validity, and how will you address those potential threats? So we're kind of describing what you want to do, identifying independent and dependent variables and then breaking those down, looking at external validity with your sample selection and sample size and how you would sample, and then looking at internal validity with some potential threats and how you might address them. So again, this can be anything that you want it to be. Pick something that interests you that's going to make it more fun. But please take advantage of this opportunity to start working on it. Again, I've given you kind of an easier, lighter week this week in order to let you start to think ahead. You also have a little short self-assessment. Since we just did an exam last week, I have another one of these 5-point assessments. As we hit the kind of like 3/4 mark of our class, I want you to think about your grade, your progress. Where are you at right now? Is there anything you want to change in this last 1/4 of the class? Is there anything that needs to be adjusted? Be honest. You don't need to tell me what you think I want to hear. Just be honest. You have as much time as you need, and it's worth 5 points. So make sure to do that this week as well so that you can kind of reflect on where you are at. I will, of course, post the recording of this a little later and give you the extra credit here in a moment. I also want to point out that starting next week, okay, not next week, I'm sorry, the week after, week 15. So next week will be a normal week, but in week 15, what I will do is open up the rest of the class in case you kind of wanted to work a little bit ahead. So this week and next week, everything like normal. And then week 15, I will open up the remaining 3 weeks. I know things get kind of hectic as we get to the end of the semester. So if you wanted a little bit of an opportunity to work ahead, you'll be able to do that at that point. But for now, make sure you focus on week 13 on that project, the discussion related to it. Let me give you a couple of quick reminders and then I'll give you that extra credit question. I did type this out like normal. If you can take a moment to make sure you're still subscribed. If you never figured it out, it's not too late. I really do appreciate those of you who have subscribed on Twitch. It saves me so much time and energy, and again, gives you that opportunity to still get the extra credit later if you're watching this as a recording. The other reminder I have for you, if you're looking ahead to next week, our next Twitch live stream will be on Wednesday, April 23rd at 1 o'clock p.m. Okay, so same day, same time like usual, 1 o'clock next week on Wednesday. And again, these are kind of short and sweet at this point, but I just want a chance to kind of go over the reminders with you, check in with you, see if you have any questions for me. And of course, if you think of a question later in the week, you can always email me. But those are my quick reminders. Let me give you the extra credit question and show you where to answer it, and then we will kind of call it a day unless there are questions. So this is the week number 13 Twitch extra credit. Okay, so the question for you, and I'm putting this in the chat, how many points is the experimental proposal project worth, and when is it due? How many points is the experimental proposal project worth, and when is it due? So when you're ready, you'll go back, and since we're in week 13, you'll click on optional Twitch extra credit number 13 right here. And then up at the top, click on start assignment. And that will bring up the box where you can type your response. And then when you're ready, hit submit for confetti and balloons. Very celebratory, right? So please feel free to take advantage of that this week. A lot of you have been doing the extra credit. It's a lot of points in the end. It's like 32 points. So I think it's fantastic that so many of you have been doing them. Please feel free to jump in this week, even if you haven't done it before. If you're watching this as a recording, you can still do it. If you're subscribed on Twitch, joining me live, you can do it that way as well. So those are kind of the big things for this week. Next week, we'll look at the last level of APA formatting, APA Part 3. But for this week, focus on the experiment proposal project. Really try and narrow it down, make the most of the opportunity, and save everything you come up with this week, as it'll come back and you can use it again in the final paper. Okay, so I know kind of short, is only at like 12, 13 minutes here. I will hang out for a little bit if you have any questions for me. Otherwise, I'll put in here, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Enjoy this beautiful cloudy weather that we have going on. I'm so grateful it's not like almost 90 degrees. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to minimize my video so I'm not staring at myself. But if you think of any questions, I will be here. Feel free to ask. Thank you all as well. Thank you, thank you. And I will hope to see you next week. We're getting close. Hang in there. I know this is a tough time of the semester as everything kind of comes together at the last minute, but we are definitely getting closer. So hang in there. Thank you all so much. And I'll hang out for a few minutes in case you have any questions for me. Thank you as well. Have a wonderful week. And I am still here. If you have any questions, I'll hang out for a few minutes.